Hello everyone and welcome back to this humble abode of gameplay and memes. Today I present to you once again another replay cast of Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, played and currently being watched using the Forged Alliance Forever client. Today I've got for you a brand new map that you haven't seen before, because this is a randomly generated map created by the Neroxis Map Generator. Yes, we are back to these, and this one looks to be 15 by 15 kilometers, considering this giant black square all around the map. Was supposed to be 20 by 20, but yes, there is an option to create a 15 by 15 map in the generator, and here we are. So yes, this map looks pretty interesting, I'd say. You've got some wreckages here and there. In fact, the total reclaim is about 6,000 on the entire map, so relatively poor in terms of reclaim, considering it's a 5 versus 5 match. But at the same time, you've got this giant open water space and relatively small islands on either side, and these islands house all of the players, so yes, expect lots and lots of naval action, and if naval superiority does get achieved, then it could accomplish some serious things. Basically, a complete naval blockade would probably mean the end of the game, because, you know, everything is relatively close to the shore. There is pretty much no safe spot where you can hide from the Navy as long as it's completely dominating the sea. With that being said, let's go ahead and start introducing our players. So, starting with Team 1 in the pink corner. I am not going to name those positions today because they are all relatively close and they will most likely all end up going Navy anyway, so I'll just go and introduce the players without bothering to name the positions because I feel like that's too much work. Ha ha ha. Anyway. First and foremost, we've got Strife at 1400 rank points, playing Aeon in Color Confusion Cyan, going first land. And next to him is going to be Chris M76 at 1200 rank points, playing Cybran in Coordinate Red, going first land. Further still towards the northeast, we've got JohnnnyJrrr. I do seem to recall mentioning that name before. At 1200 rank points, playing UEF in Thalassophobia Blue, very appropriate for the map's current terrain. Yes, playing UEF, going first land. A little bit further towards the south is going to be Soul Ripper 77. At 1300 rank points, also playing UEF, this time in Flamboyant Pink, going first land. And last but not least, for this team is going to be the highest rated player in the entire match, is going to be Sladow-Noob, our good old friend. At 2100 rank points, playing Cybran in Power Play Purple, going first land. Moving on to the other side of the world, in the red corner, on Team 2, we've got Kampfkeks 500. So this name translates to roughly translates to Combat Cupcake from German, from my understanding, so that's pretty cool. At 1600 rank points, playing Cybran in Fresh and Fragrant Orange, going first land. And next up is going to be M3RT1N, or Martin, or Merton, or something along those lines, whose land factory is currently producing nothing despite being already finished. He's got 1200 rank points, playing UEF in Road Rage Red, going first land. Moving on towards the southwestern corner of the map, next up is going to be Judoka 1972. At 1300 rank points, playing Aeon in Wet Concrete Grey, going first land. They are going land, right? I didn't make this up? No, I didn't. Okay, cool. Good to know. Further still, more towards the northwest, is going to be MSG, who we have already seen aplenty as well. At 1600 rank points this time, playing Cybran in Blues Blue, going first land. And last but not least, for this team and for this particular match, we're going to have ourselves Lynx_H3. I wonder if this name is a reference to this player being a big fan of Heroes of Might and Magic, for example. Well, I suppose if they're watching they can answer that question, but yes. Playing UEF at 1600 rank points in Winter Wipeout White, going first land. Alright, but this is all of the players summed up, so let's speed up the game real quick. So yeah, I've already described the map. A really quick note, it seems like 4 players out of 10 in this game are members of the clan TTD. I have no idea what it stands for, but it should be noted that there are 3 players from this clan on Team 1 and 1 of these on Team 2, so I suppose it's almost like a clan war. Not quite, but close enough, I suppose. Also interesting names for the clans that I've never seen before. Triple G right here, as well as TOT. Yeah, I have no idea what these stand for or when they were formed or anything like that, but it's always nice to see all these new and fresh names. It's pretty peculiar indeed. Anyway, we should expect our players to be going Navy any second now. They're already reclaiming the outlying naval factories. I think those are supposed to be T1, the wreckages. I mean, considering, you know, there's only 400 reclaim per piece. But yes, we are currently witnessing the reclaim being absorbed. Already some construction started on the naval yards of their own. This time out from Chris. On the opposite side of the world, we've got both Merton as well as MSG walking out into the water. Oh yeah, another quick note, we should probably point out that there are no Seraphim in this game, so I suppose that could mean that the players are expecting the game to extend a fair bit, because not picking Seraphim usually means that you want an economic advantage in the late game, because, you know, Seraphim don't have those support commanders with the resource allocation system preset on board. They cannot get resource allocation system on their support commanders, so the fact that there are no Seraphim in the game means probably all of the players want those support commanders, so they are expecting the game to go fairly late. We'll see how it's actually going to go, but you can probably tell from the length of this video exactly how it's going to play out. Alright, we've got our first airdrop here, already out from Lynx, dropping 1 engineer on top of the cliff. So yeah, we got those outlying islands for either side. The islands on the edge of the map seem to be inaccessible by land, but that's okay. We've got air transports just for that. And yes, on the opposite side the exact same thing is happening, and yes, there is also another mini plateau, which also seems to be inaccessible by land, but once again, airdrops are already happening. In fact, it looks like we're about to witness an aggressive airdrop here out from Strife, who is going straight for Team 2's, or, well, nominally Team 2's island. In fact, the aggression is coming out from 2 players already. Soul Ripper approaching the positions with a frigate. The frigate is already being countered by a submarine out from Combat Cupcake, but we'll see if that is actually sufficient. Because, yes, the engineers are being dropped directly on top of the positions of Lynx, who does manage to clean that up, but for some reason is building... Oh, I was gonna say he's building 2 radars. That's not true at all. That's a plasma cannon, not a radar. The engineers from... Who's this? Strife, right, yes. The engineers from Strife already hard at work constructing anti-air turrets, point defense turrets, all that good stuff. The frigates are, of course, fleeing from the submarine as they are completely helpless to stop it. More submarines and frigates coming in from the defenders. For now, it looks like the situation is to the advantage of Team 1, but if they stick around too long, that could flip, because, you know, they are right next to the enemy production facilities and they have no means of actually destroying these facilities because there are just too many, and too many frigates will be coming out. So in terms of reclaim, if we take a closer look, we can see that Team 2 is currently doing it a little bit better job in terms of reclaim. But, you know, reclaim wasn't nearly as important. There was only 6,000 at the onset, mostly scattered in these tiny rocks, as well as, well, you know, the chunks that come from the naval factories, while significant, won't be game deciding by any means. We've got engineers from Team 2 actually going aggressive on the opposite side, just like Team 1 did. Here we've got engineers from both Lynx and MSG trying to occupy and reclaim as much as they can. A counter engineer has been sent but is currently doing nothing, so it will just be reclaimed for no reason. Sladow is already sending units to Soul Ripper. I guess those must be frigates. Yes indeed, Sladow is making his own frigates, and you can see Soul Ripper now in possession of both Cybran and UEF ships, so yes indeed. Sladow is very wisely consolidating all of the navy in the hands of one commander, allowing that commander to possibly accomplish greater things than would otherwise be possible. Land scouts being sent out from Kampfkex. These are actually supposed to be Aeon, I'm pretty sure, which means Kampfkex got some Aeon technology out from Judoka. He's actually, oh yes, he's built an Aeon naval factory as well, so it looks like Kampfkex might have access to not just Cybran and Aeon, but also UEF here, if Merton decides to give the frigates over to him. To mirror the move of Sladow. We'll see if that's actually going to happen though. For now, oh, we've got the commander of MSG walking up into the middle of the map, or into the map's equator, I should say, or maybe a little bit over that, and already having completed stealth, now starting the upgrade of torpedoes. So yes, MSG is planning to go aggressively with his torpedoes. I'm not entirely sure how warranted that is, because, you know, so this map is sufficiently large that it feels like it's going to be possible to hit T2 Navy before the torpedo upgrade is going to be put to good use. And you know, the T2 counters, T2 Navy is a pretty good counter to the Cybran torpedo commander, because, you know, they outrange the torpedo commander, and also, well, yeah, if you lose your commander, you're out of the game, so it's a very risky play to go for that. In terms of the commander upgrades that, you know, work for your navy, to support your navy, the usual debate, which one is the best, is between the Cybran torpedo com and the Seraphim restoration field com, but since, you know, there are no Seraphim on this map, we're not gonna see that today. Yeah, the Seraphim restoration field is generally considered to be superior, because not only does it regenerate your own ships, it also regenerates your commander, and together with the nano repair system, it sustains your commander fairly well, preventing it from dying too easily. Alright, we've got a strategic bomber out already from Lynx, so pretty good timing. I would say till roughly 11 minutes it was already operational. Alright, destroying some factories in T1 point defense. So far not very worthy targets, I'd say. I guess he doesn't want to fly the bomber over the main bases out of fear of it being shot down by like a cruiser or some such. All the interceptors from Team 1 are being sent against the bomber, but it looks like they won't be here in time. The torpedo upgrade has been completed and MSG is now walking towards the enemy base. A very bold move indeed. See how that's gonna pay off. Fighters chasing down the incoming bomber. It looks like the fighters from Lynx are actually distracted. They aren't protecting the bomber, so now he's got 3 fighters on its tail. So it's probably gonna get shot down. No veterancy on the bomber. About what is it? Whatever, I couldn't see that. But yeah, not very much mass destroyed. We saw it ourselves. It basically didn't destroy any important mass extractors and any important infrastructure from Team 1. So overall, not a very good bomber, and not that great of air micro out from Lynx. I'm not saying I would have done better, because I definitely wouldn't. I am a mere 1200, I want to say. Actually 1100 right now, but you know, close enough. But yes, that was not the best of bombers ever. Let's just say that. And yes, we're already hitting T2 Navy. In fact, Kampfkex, remember the guy with the both Cybran and Aeon technology, is now producing Aeon torpedo naval destroyers. Yes, and they are bombarding the opposing frigates from afar. So far, it doesn't look like the pink player himself, Soul Ripper, has anything to answer these destroyers with. Well, he's producing his own destroyer now. But it's so far it's gonna take a while before it actually comes out. Oh, the commander of MSG meanwhile is being surrounded by a whole bunch of frigates and submarines out from Team 1. It looks like, you know, one advantage that the Cybran torpedo com has, as you can see, he's currently upgrading T2, and his torpedo launcher is still actually firing. Very nicely done. I mean, that's pretty much how all weapons of the commander work, actually. Yeah, all of the commander mounted weapons still work while the commander is upgrading, but the torpedo launcher is particularly noteworthy because look how powerful it is. If we take a look at the DPS of that thing, it's going to be, I don't remember it by heart, of course, and I can't actually see it. Alright, maybe if I can do this, I think. Yeah, Nanite torpedo DPS 250, yes, 250 torpedo DPS. If we compare that to something like a destroyer, let's look at this Aeon destroyer that we've seen before. The Aeon destroyer has 87 torpedo DPS, so yeah, basically or not, no, never mind, not 87, it's 87 plus 75. So that's going to be 7 and 8 is 15, yeah, it's roughly 160 DPS, so basically the Cybran torpedo com is equivalent to 2 destroyers in terms of his torpedo DPS. Slightly less, but close enough. His own destroyers, meanwhile, being produced by MSG, for some reason they are not attacking the landings of Strife. No harms done so far against the... oh, there we go, finally moves in. I guess the destroyer might have not been seeing the targets, but yes, now the commander is out and he's taking some serious damage from 3 PD turrets. Yeah, you should probably just let the destroyer clear all that before you enter, but I guess he does have some overcharge, so it's not that big of a problem. Alright, and now it looks like the navy of Kampfkex is engaging 3 opponents. In particular, it's going to be Sladow, Soul Ripper, and Chris, who are all attacking the navy of Kampfkex, who is currently alone. And there is still the navy of Strife, which still isn't accounted for. It's not currently engaging anything. All of the players, all the naval players pretty much have gone destroyers now, except for Sladow, who has actually given over his naval factories to Soul Ripper, so Sladow is completely out of the naval game and is instead working on a resource allocation system as well as some air support for whoever had the air before. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was Sladow himself who had the air the whole time, but I'm assuming more players will go for air as the game develops. Yes, indeed, you can already see T3 air out of Judoka. Yes, indeed, he's already got a T3 power generator, 2 T3 air factories producing planes. Yes, 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 all good. So yes, we're gonna have contested air out from multiple players from each team. Just gotta wait for that to actually develop. In terms of economies, if we take a look at the economies, we can clearly see that Lynx is currently in the lead, the air player of Team 2. However, Sladow has now overtaken him, probably just upgraded another mass extractor to T3. Overall, a pretty even situation, but we'll see how it develops very shortly. I'm still not entirely sure about, you know, Kampfkex facing 2 navies alone, but now it's actually not entirely true, because there are now shield boats being produced by Merton, which are being transferred to Kampfkex, so we've got almost a mirror situation here in terms of who and what is controlling the navy. We've got 2 players producing navies and combining them in order for them to be commanded more efficiently, but it looks like for now Kampfkex's forces are insufficient. A whole bunch of torpedo bombers has flown in and sunk a few boats, I'm guessing, but yeah, that's not going to be... the torpedo bombers themselves aren't going to be enough, but the navy's constantly pushing in might be. We've got MSG on the enemy island, currently upgrading to T3 as we speak, already has some shields and tactical missile launchers. Have those killed anything yet? Does not look like it, never mind. The navy of MSG, meanwhile, is engaging the navy of Strife. I'm assuming MSG should win this because it looked like he had destroyers while Strife didn't. Strife also has both Aeon and Cybran frigates, interestingly enough, but no destroyers. The planes of Lynx are flying overhead, preventing any torpedo bombers from interfering. Yes, it looks like MSG is winning so far, because he has no destroyers for the enemy side as of yet. The first destroyer has been produced by Strife, but he's keeping it back in order to ensure that it doesn't just get sunk for nothing. However, without the support of the frigates, and with so many frigates on the opposing side, I fear this one destroyer might not be entirely enough. Alright, we've got missiles being launched by MSG. I wonder where they are going to go. Alright, MSG, let's see what you got. I think he's gonna go for the... yes, he's gonna go for the T3 mass extractor, which actually doesn't get one-shot by the missile. You need another missile to clean that up. Which... is it ever coming? I can't see one, and it looks like, yeah, they've got zappers now, so a Cybran missile might not be stopped by it, but It looks like he stopped launching for some reason. Yeah, 2 T3 mass extractors almost dead, 200 health each, and they're just standing there still working. Oh no. You gotta get to work on that. There we go. Another missile destroys a 1 T3 mass extractor. And how about we destroy the other one? Not yet, I suppose. Alright, so the naval production of Strife is now being heavily threatened by a whole bunch of frigates out from MSG. A swarm of torpedo bombers from both Strife and Sladow comes in. That could change things drastically because, yeah, it looks like there aren't too many destroyers left for MSG, so this might actually be a fatal mistake he's making here, because all the ships from him that will be sunk here will be picked up by Team 1, will be hoovered up, reclaimed, and that could just end up being a mass donation without too much else. Oh, but Corsairs coming in against MSG's commander. It looks like, no, it looks like Lynx is on top of the game so far. The fighters out from both Lynx and Judoka protect MSG for now, so no nasty surprises there. But MSG's navy is looking rather pathetic compared to what the enemy is working with. He failed to destroy the T2 naval factory, and now it's producing more and more destroyers, and those are Aeon destroyers. Keep in mind, though, those have the best range as well as damage per shot. So those destroyers are particularly great at dealing with the opposing destroyers, unless of course the opposing destroyers just dodge it, but you know, it doesn't always happen. I would be slightly worried if I were MSG about the positioning of my commander. Oh, he actually had to cancel his T3 upgrade because of the Corsairs, but yeah, now he's just standing there building T2 artillery for some reason. I'm not entirely sure what that's going to accomplish. Let's see the range. Yep, it can't even hit the mainland of Team 2. It's not going to do anything. I'm not entirely sure why he's bothering with that. I guess he wants to repel those destroyers because artillery does outrange destroyers. That's one good thing about it, but still. Might not be entirely sufficient. However, MSG's attack on the naval production of Strife did provide some relief for Kampfkex, who is now quite far ahead, or at least seems to be, quite far ahead of the combined navies of Chris and Soul Ripper. If you take a look at this, if we take stock of the destroyer count, we can see that Kampfkex is currently working with 12. On the opposite side of the world, we've got Soul Ripper with 1, right, and Chris with 3. Alright, yes, so Kampfkex definitely has the destroyer advantage as we speak. There is a strategic bomber which was bombing a T3 mass extractor, which once again ends in failure, because guess what? You can't destroy a T3 mass extractor with a single strategic bomb. That's not possible. Meanwhile, an air engagement happening between Sladow and the combined air forces of Judoka and Lynx. Keep forgetting his name, sorry about that. And Sladow loses. Yep. That was a rather unfortunate timing. I guess he was busy microing his fighters in order to destroy the opposing bomber, but at the same time he pretty much gave up the air advantage entirely. And now all the torpedo bombers out from both Strife and Sladow himself are going to get cleaned up by the air force of Team 2. Not very good look so far. And still MSG is fortifying his position. I think he realized that the artillery was kind of a waste, so he stopped building them, but you know, since you've got one already, might as well, you know, build some generators around it or something, because, like, has to do some kind of damage. How much damage has it done so far? It says it's roughly, yeah, 379 mass killed. Yeah, not a very worthwhile investment considering a T2 artillery piece costs about 2,000 mass. Alright, and the destroyer assault is continuing against the forces of Soul Ripper. Very soon it could be threatening his naval production as well, of which he actually has a T2 navy now for... Oh, it looks like Soul Ripper has given one of the factories back to Sladow, and now Sladow himself has built with his mighty economy, which I'm pretty sure he's surpassing everybody at this point. Well, everybody except for Lynx, of course. But Lynx is a dedicated air player, he's not building any navy. So yes, with his mighty economy, Sladow has now produced a whole bunch of hives to assist his now T3 naval factory headquarters, which are now building battleships. So yes, Sladow is investing a little bit more heavily into the naval game. While that did result in him losing air, it remains to be seen whether or not Team 2 can even utilize that advantage. So far, it doesn't seem like they are. Also, a Cybran T3 sonar has been brought to bear by Kampfkex. Now, the Cybran T3 sonar is very interesting because it has a stealth field on board, so that stealth field, yep, see, they can only see half of Kampfkex's navy, specifically because of the sonar in the area. I would like you to move your shield boats a little bit forward though, because currently they are doing precisely nothing. It seems like there is some fire going from land towards the enemy ships from Team 1. No, I think it was just the destroyers actually. The destroyers of Chris. Another air engagement might be happening soon, but I don't think Sladow can win that, considering he's got... actually, let's just do the fighter count the old-fashioned way. He's got himself 57, and on the opposite side, we've got 37 for Lynx and 46 for Judoka. So yes, very much advantageous for Team 2 to fight right now. But Sladow is attacking them one by one. They aren't engaging him together, so it might not be as obvious as we thought. It looks like Sladow is also getting some bad turns, unfortunately, so... yeah, overall ends up as another bad air engagement for Sladow. Unfortunate. But since he is investing so heavily into Navy, you know, not all is lost from that. He's not, you know, it's not like he's pumping all of his resources into air and still losing. That is the opposite of what's happening. So, at least they've still got those mighty battleships. Those are Cybran battleships, you know, not the best. Considering, you know, we've got UEF Navy here, they probably would have preferred to make some UEF battleships instead. But, you know, a battleship is a battleship, especially considering Team 2 is working with none so far. Have they even got themselves a T3 Navy? Well, okay. The first T3 ship emerges from the factories of Merton. This time it's going to be a Neptune-class battle cruiser, so no battleships yet. And you know, battleships are actually really good against battle cruisers as long as they can keep their distance. However, distance might be a serious problem now for the Navy of Team 1, considering the enemy destroyers are already in their faces. Will start destroying the factories of Soul Reaper very soon. Unless something changes drastically, like Sladow suddenly sends like 50 torpedo bombers against them, which he does not have. I am fairly certain, nope, he's only got 6 so far. And it looks like the other air player, Johnny, isn't building any either, so yes. By the way, like I said, the direct, you know, the direct counterparts of Lynx and Judoka are both building air, both Sladow and Johnny. However, they are, I would say they are slacking in comparison to Team 2. But yet again, we have to see Team 2 actually put that advantage to reality. It looks like MSG has actually managed to upgrade himself with the T3 engineering suite and is now building harms left and right. There are now 2 harms firing upon the enemy navy. So I guess he's gonna attempt what is known as a harms creep, where you build some harms and then you build some more harms slightly closer towards the enemy. Basically the same thing as a PD creep, except, you know, in the water. The problem might be though that we might not survive long enough, because he is being bombarded by the torpedo bombers of Strife, and there we go. MSG is our first casualty of the day, as he gets annihilated by a whole bunch of torpedo bombers out from Strife. So yes, finally Strife does manage to deal with one of the naval problems. The harms are going to be a serious problem still, except when they explode. What? Excuse you. Huh? What? Alright, I'm fairly certain the game is being played as full share, because all of the factories of MSG are still standing, but for some reason his harms just exploded. What? What? Are harms specifically programmed to explode when your commander dies? That's weird. I guess that is one way to nerf them, but are you sure harms really need to be nerfed? Like, they are a unique unit, yes, but are they really that overpowered, considering battleships can destroy them without taking a single shot back? I don't know about that. Alright, so the battlecruiser has been transferred over to Kampfkex. It seems like it's not doing too well for itself, though, like I said before. Battleships are really good against battlecruisers, even if the latter can close their distance. You still need to survive the incoming barrages, which I'm pretty sure battleships have not just more health, but also more DPS in comparison to battlecruisers. And look at how many frigates Sladow has already pumped out. And he's not just pumping them out, he's controlling them directly. He's not giving them to Soul Reaper like he's done with the Navy before. 8 frigates out from Sladow, currently on cleanup duty against the Navy of Kampfkex, and then there's an air engagement going on overhead as we speak between Sladow and Judoka. I'm sure the fighters of Lynx are also somewhere nearby. It looks extremely unclear, let's just say that. The fighters from both sides, both sides have UEF fighters, as well as Cybran, so yeah, it's not entirely clear what's happening. Let's switch to top-down view again, and it looks like this time, actually, Team 2, yes, Team 2 has won that air engagement once again, so now, once again, all the torpedo bombers harassing the navy of Kampfkex will be shot down. They have done their damage, of course. Plenty of, you can see plenty of Aeon ships sinking in the bay, so yes, they have done some damage, but now they are not very long for this world, except for some reason the air of Team 2 is not responding to them too quickly, so lots of unnecessary losses taken there as well. And with the... Okay, Johnny just randomly decided to quit the game. I guess maybe he had to go, because I would not say this game was lost. You see, all of the battleships that Sladow has so far pumped out, he's got 9. I'm not sure Team 2 has a single battleship as of right now. No, that's a battle cruiser. If we take a look at Merton, he's got nothing at all, so no. Team 2 has no T3 Navy whatsoever. They're sending some torpedo bombers against battleships. That is an inadequate amount of torpedo bombers. For sure, these don't accomplish anything. Even if they sink one... Yeah, I don't think they will sink a single battleship, so never mind that. Yeah, Sladow might just bring the game back with all this amount of battleship, you know? Battleships, you know, one of other casters in the FAF community, you might know him very well, Willow's Duality. He always says that there is such a thing as a frick you number of battleships. Obviously I'm censoring the swear word here, don't like those, but yeah, there is such a thing called frick you amount of battleships. And by the way, now Soul Ripper has in fact transferred the frigates to, I'm sorry, Sladow has transferred them to Soul Ripper. So yeah, there's such a thing as a frick you amount of battleships, where your battleship advantage is so big that the enemy navy can't do anything because they just get obliterated by the opposing battleships, and I'm pretty sure that is exactly what Sladow is aiming for. And can he afford that? Well, of course he can. He's got 25,000 mass in storage, because yeah, the economy of Johnny has been transferred over to him as well. He has now started work on a Maver, or was it Johnny? I'm not sure. I think it was Johnny, because Sladow is currently reclaiming the Maver. I'm guessing he wants to build something more trivial like T3 artillery installations. We'll see about that. On the opposite side of the world, in terms of late game or mid game or end game devices, we've got pretty much nothing, just a whole bunch of air grids and a whole bunch of eco. For both Lynx and Judoka, we've got one strategic missile defense, which is gonna do precisely nothing because there are no nukes on the enemy side, but it's still good to have one, you know. It's strategic missile defense isn't a bad thing, you just don't want to build too many of them, or to have none of them. Both of these extremes are bad for you. But yes, there is also an Apocalypse nuke launcher out from Judoka. It's currently charging, and it's not charging up very fast because nothing is assisting it. You know, Aeon famously have some trouble assisting their nuke launchers because they don't have hives or kennels, but still, you know, as Aeon you can just produce a whole bunch of T3 engineers to very much the same effect, and here you go. Yes, T3 support commanders with the resource allocation system preset, of course, as well as a whole bunch of T3 engineers assisting. The nuke launcher will ensure that it will complete a lot faster. Actually, Judoka is having some serious trouble spending his mass, so that's worth noting. Oh my goodness, it looks like Lynx has even more trouble spending his mass. So yeah, so the players in this game are, aren't quite sure how to spend their mass. You can see there's a battleship construction being assisted by T1 engineers. What you probably want to do in this situation is what Sladow has done, just build a whole bunch of hives, right, a whole bunch of hives next to your T3 factories. He's got a whole bunch of T3 factories here and is building even more, building T3 factories directly with T3 engineers, but might be prudent to just build a whole bunch of hives on the shore next to those factories to boost your assistance, especially considering, you know, this, just that the factories themselves won't be enough to spend all this mass. The air advantage looks like it's still in the hands of Team 2. However, the naval advantage for Team 1 still keeps mounting. You can see that the battleships from Sladow are now on the offensive against Kampfkex, who is has got quite a few frigates, it has to be said, but you know, if those frigates don't get to fire a single shot because they get sunk by the battleships from afar, it's not really gonna matter. So still awaiting some potential counters from Team 2. It looks like they are now building up some serious torpedo bomber defenses. Yes indeed, it looks like Judoka is building a whole bunch of these now instead of the fighters, which I guess makes a lot of sense because for all they know they should hold the air advantage as of now. 150 fighters for Sladow. What is this number? Well, I guess it's like around 100 for Lynx and 109 for Judoka. So yes, overall they do have an air advantage, and now the torpedo bombers are attacking. Let's see if they're actually enough to accomplish anything, because you know there's also shield boats in the area. Out from Soul Ripper himself. It looks like they aren't accomplishing too much, and they are being shot down on their way back, so they will all only get one pass. These are suicide torpedo bombers. It looks like, yeah, there is an air engagement now. I think we should see colors in order to gauge who is winning this and who isn't. It looks like Sladow might be in a slightly better position because they are flying over cruisers of Team 1. But I think Sladow still hasn't got enough fighters to properly face them, and yes, it looks like he's getting some bad turns as well. The fighters of Judoka are constantly on the tail of the fighters of Sladow. The fighters of Lynx are splitting for some reason. I guess that's a good micro move in this case, but yes. Sladow very much losing the air advantage once again, the air engagement. I mean, he tries to bait the enemies on top of a whole bunch of SAM launchers of Team 1, but fails. Interestingly enough, yes, Sladow has already sent some support commanders into the water. These are both constructing some SAM launchers as well as reclaiming all of the ship wreckage, which there is plenty of that to go around. You can see right now there is 82,000 reclaim on the map. And all of it is just wreckage, you know, mostly just ship wreckage. It looks like, yes, Lynx was still trying to attack from the west, just like MSG has done before him, but it looks like it hasn't worked out too well because now the battleship production is on the way for both Strife and Chris. So now the battleships of Lynx are sinking one by one. It is definitely not looking good for Lynx's navy so far. Which, yes, he had to take over from MSG, of course, which MSG has left plenty of naval production as well as resources, but currently Lynx is not managing them too well. Oh no, actually, never mind. He spent all of his mass since the last time we've seen it. If we compare the forces or the massing production of Chris and Strife, Strife still has got plenty in the bank, and Chris, for his part, is almost full, 22,000 mass still. They have pinged out the strategic bombers. They have seen those bombers out from Lynx, which are currently, yes, they're currently flying around the edge of the map, but since they've been spotted, they are now going to get chased down by the fighters of Sladow. I wonder what exactly these bombers are aimed for. I guess we will see in a second. The fighters out from Lynx himself are already flying to intercept. They see the fighters of Sladow. The air engagement is about to occur. It looks like... what? Excuse you? Alright, the Strat bombers just revealed themselves by bombing a whole bunch of nothing. Essentially 1 to 3 mass extractor from all these bombers. I should have probably looked how many there were before, but now there are 26 still left. And they're still coming for something. There are more fighters in from Sladow. I bet Team 2 didn't expect that because Sladow has split his bombers. It looks like they're all going for the strategic missile defense of Strife. So I'm guessing they are planning to launch the nuke now out from Judoka. And yeah, I don't think the bombers will accomplish anything else because there are way too few of them. Yes, indeed. It looks like they have destroyed the strategic missile defense, but that was about it. A relatively poor performance by the bombers, but you know, at least they managed to destroy something. Meanwhile, Sladow has already finished construction of the T3 artillery installation, just like we predicted. Well, I wouldn't say predicted because I've seen this replay before, of course, but yes, a T3's heavy artillery installation is now operational. It is firing upon the base of... yeah, well, the bases of Merton as well as Judoka, I'm guessing. And meanwhile, for his part, Merton has started construction of a Maver. Now, whether or not he can afford that, let's see. I'm guessing the entire team should be pouring resources into that now. In fact, it looks like Judoka was doing just that, but now his engineers are going somewhere else. Not entirely sure what's happening there. Okay, we've got our first nuke launch out from Judoka. They do see the missile launcher. Yes, they do, so... this is why they've built a whole bunch of SMD, of course. Let's see where that's gonna go. I'm assuming the only place where it could possibly go is going to be the base of Strife. Strife is already leaving. Yeah, he's just completed another SMD unit, which is on the outskirts, which could allow it to survive, but it all depends on where exactly the nuke lands. It looks like, yes, indeed, the nuke is going towards this location. as the naval engagements are happening all over the map. We should probably get some cool cinematic shots of that in a second, but now our current cinematic shot is going to be the base of Strife going up in flames. Let's do it. Hello? I said let's do it. Oh, there we go, there's a missile. Oh, yes, the beautiful Aeon. A strategic missile exploding in a rainbow effect of purple and white. Wait, purple and white isn't a rainbow, well, whatever. Alright, yes, and now it is time for the cinematic shot of the century. A whole bunch of battleships from Sladow targeting the enemy battleships of Kampfkex and Merton, which are all being controlled by Kampfkex, of course, while the battleships of Team 1, of course I made a mistake here, they are being controlled by Soul Ripper, who isn't even producing them. And yeah, it's not looking too good for Team 2 so far, in terms of how many battleships Team 1 is working with. More torpedo bombers flying in from Lynx. Actually a pretty good maneuver they did there, where most of them actually left before they could get shot down. Went in the opposite direction, pretty well done. I guess they can sink at least one battleship this way. Probably not too many more, because there are so many SAM launchers that have been constructed by Sladow, which I don't think the bombers can accomplish too much else. Meanwhile, the support commanders are just continuing their trail of destruction, or creation. In this case, I suppose they aren't even reclaiming, they're just building flayers everywhere. Yeah, flayers, right. Even though Sladow himself is Cybran, he's got plenty of UEF technology to go around, of course, and this is why he's building Dukes instead of Cybran disruptors. Already a third one almost done. So by the time Team 2 builds that Maver, or completes that Maver, they could be faced with 4 artillery installations on the opposing team, and that's not gonna go too well for the Maver. Let me tell you, it's a lot easier to construct these than it is to construct a Maver, and we are seeing that in action right now. Interestingly enough, all of the mass fabricators from Sladow have been paused. I'm guessing he's got some energy problems. Yeah, I guess if he's building this at the same time as he's firing up all the mass fabricators, he could run into some serious energy problems, but I think it's time to start them now. When you've got 12,000 energy per second surplus, it's probably a good time to start. Yes, the Maver is, what is it, 70% of the way done. Perfect number for me. Another nuke launcher has been constructed by Lynx. It's not being assisted by anything though, so it's gonna be a while before that launches, considering he's still mass stalling. Yep, minus 600 per second mass in deficit. You gotta do something about that. Wait, what was that? He says spam subs versus galaxies. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. You know, T2 Cybran T2 subs, or even Aeon T2 subs, are a pretty good counter to battleships. That is true. Unfortunately, the subs themselves are quite easily countered by torpedo bombers or destroyers. But considering Team 1, or at least Sladow and Soul Ripper, aren't building destroyers at all, that could be the key to victory, those T2 subs. You gotta produce them a little bit faster though. This is highly insufficient. Even though they are being assisted by kennel drones, it's still... it might be too little too late though. Let's take a look at the battleship count once again. It's going to be... what is this now? 12 for Chris alone. And then for Soul Ripper, who's getting help from Sladow, is going to be 12 as well. Yeah, so 24 battleships firing upon the navy of Team 2 as we speak. They've got plenty of battleships on their own. Actually, it isn't plenty at all. That's like 7 in this area. Strategic bombers flying in order to destroy battleships. Now, that might not prove very wise. Sure, you can sink one battleship, but then your expensive strategic bombers are just going to get shot down without accomplishing too much else, you know? It doesn't really matter if there's just one. Kampfkex has been defeated by Sladow. Where's the... what? Oh, Kampfkex decided to teleport in. Yep, there you go. Kampfkex decided to teleport in on top of the enemy artillery pieces. He does manage to destroy one, but then, yep, he gets killed by those support commanders as well as something else. Oh yeah, right, T1 PD right here, of course. So a valiant effort by Kampfkex, but ultimately for naught, because the artillery is still firing, the battleships are still assaulting. You know, you can't solve that problem with a telemaser, not at all. So yes, not a very effective telemaser, but you know, it was there. But since it wasn't very effective, that's the excuse why I haven't shown you that, because it wasn't very effective. Yes, that's what I'm gonna say here. MSG is telling, I'm guessing he's telling Lynx to strat something. Not entirely sure what that's supposed to be. It's probably gonna be something like the artillery pieces, but like, yeah, it's gonna take a while before those bombers actually reach those artillery pieces, and in terms of fighters, well, looks like Sladow has got none, except, oh, well. Okay, that's because he's actually just engaged the enemy air. It looks like he's actually won, because if we take a look at Lynx now, yeah. Lynx has got no fighters to speak of, and neither has Judoka. Well, he's still got 20, but yeah, looks like we missed another important thing. That was Sladow's air engaging against the enemy air. Strategic bombers from Sladow are still flying overhead. They are trying to destroy the Maver, which has now been completed and is now firing. It looks like the shields around the Maver are being heavily assisted though, so those strats won't do anything. And yes, the Maver is now firing. Woo! Cause for celebration, right? So where exactly is it firing then? You might ask, and my answer is I don't actually know. If we... No, it just says attacking. But yes, as expected, it is firing upon the enemy artillery, of course. Because that is the thing threatening the Maver directly as of right now. And yes, you can see there is also an extremely vulnerable nuke eliminator here as well. So, if the Maver manages to destroy any of that, it's going to be serious problems for Team 1, because they won't have too many other things to attack the Maver with. As of right now, though, there are still shielder comms in the area. Yep, you can see the T3 support commanders with the shield preset. So they are still protecting the artillery pieces as well as the stationary shields. Those bad boys have got some serious shields on them, by the way. 52,000 shield health. To compare that to a stationary shield, which is only 17,000. And yeah, the Maver is gonna have some serious trouble penetrating those. But it is probably gonna penetrate them eventually. We'll see about that. So far, no damage has been done. The artillery is still under construction. More fighters being produced, or well, these are bombers, not fighters, okay? So Sladow is still attempting to make strategic bombers in order to destroy the Maver. Hasn't gone too well so far, but a nuke has been now launched by Lynx. Yes, Lynx. Let's see where that's going. I probably could have seen that before, but it's too late now. I'm guessing that's gonna go for the base of Strife again, because, you know, that's the only vulnerable spot, the only spot that doesn't really have strategic missile defense, except it actually does. It's right here. They might not have noticed that, but... Oh wait, no. They have pinged up the SMD, but it might have been after the nuke was launched, so yeah, that is not gonna do anything unless you specifically target the naval production, which looks like it isn't. Yep, there we go, anti-nuke. Ooh, and the naval crush is now in full effect. The naval factories of both Merton and Kampfkicks have been completely destroyed. The battleships are now in the bay, shooting up everything in sight. Yeah, that is not a pretty sight indeed. All of the mass extractors, all of the mass fabricators adjacent to them are gonna get destroyed very soon. And now the naval production of Lynx seems to be next. Yes, indeed, there are battleships now attacking from all of the players on Team 1. Like, I'm pretty sure this is literally all of the players from Team 1. Sladow's battleships are here, Chris's battleships are here, the Soul Ripper's ships are of course here, even though those aren't battleships, and now the frigates, the battleships out from Strife as well, so yes, we got a 4v1 situation now in the naval game, and even though Lynx is working with a bigger economy than probably some players on Team 1, we can actually confirm that right now. Lynx has the highest mass income as of right now, but that's about to change drastically, as his navy gets demolished by 4 opposing players, and of course his mass production on the shores is going to be next. Some seriously vulnerable mass extractors the map generator has created for this map, so yeah, these are sure to follow next as long as the naval production of Lynx can actually be stopped. He is now making some T2 subs, like we've said before. T2 subs are really good against battleships, but so far they're only attacking the frigates. Strife has constructed an experimental unit. He's now got a few Tempests. I'm pretty sure he's got 2 now, actually. Yep, that's the second Tempest now from Strife. A whole bunch of strategic bombers are now flying over the seas for Sladow. Let's see where these are going to go. Better not miss those like we missed the last batch, eh? The Maver is still very much firing. The artillery of Sladow is still mostly intact. It looks like, yes, the shield comms are providing all the protection it needs. And when the shields on the shield comms go down, the shields the stationary shields go up instead. Can't finish the artillery just yet, but it's not going to be very long before they do. The Strife bombers are still waiting. There is now a Galactic Colossus out on the shores of Team 2, attacking the enemy base directly. Ooh, that's not good. Yep, it's now gonna vaporize a few generators before it can be stopped. It's gonna attract some engineers, which is, well, not very valuable, but you know what I mean. So far there is absolutely nothing that is stopping the Colossus. Yeah, that must have been constructed underwater by the support commanders of Strife directly. So now the power grid of Merton is in danger, which I'm guessing Merton does not need that many generators. Yeah, he's overflowing power like crazy, so that's not a very big loss actually. But his commander is under attack by something, not entirely sure what that was. The strategic bombers out from Sladow are still there, haven't missed those. A whole bunch of PD being constructed by Team 2 in order to protect against the Colossus. The Colossus is still moving though, it's dodging a whole bunch of Ravager fire as we speak. It's also being targeted by a whole bunch of Stinger gunships, which don't really do too much damage. The Colossus stops, which it really shouldn't. You should just keep the Colossus moving, so it can destroy as much as it can, but nope. There you go, the Colossus is completely gone. However, the naval production of Merton, the naval production of T2 submarines, is still somehow standing and still working. They haven't accomplished too much, as you've clearly seen, as now the naval yards of Lynx are being destroyed, but yes, they are still there. They are still, might be preparing for some kind of a stealth operation. And have we missed the strike bombers? Please tell me we haven't missed the strike bombers. Okay, they're still there. 51 Revenant bombers out from Sladow. Oh, that's not good. Whatever this target is definitely going to get destroyed. Unfortunately, the Colossus hasn't reached the Maver, or well, unfortunately for Team 1, I suppose I should say. Another nuke being launched that is now targeting... No idea what it's targeting, the map refuses to show that. But oh yes, this is what it's targeting. It's targeting the artillery pieces, and this time the nuclear defense has been eliminated, so now... Ooh, and the artillery piece gets destroyed by the Maver. There is only one T3 artillery left for Sladow, and I'm pretty sure that's the entire Team 1. Yeah, looks to be the case. Well, the Maver should now stop firing at this because this will get destroyed anyway and fire upon something else. I wonder where these Maver shells are gonna go next. But the Strat bombers, where are they? Hello? Did I miss them? Hello? No, they're still here. Oh, they are... Wait, these aren't Strat bombers, these are... Oh no, I missed the Strat bombers because these are torpedo bombers! No! What did they do? I don't even know anymore. And I guess they haven't done too much because all of the bases of Team 2 are still standing, so they must have been wasted once again. Oh, whoops. Missing a whole bunch of stuff here. Highly unfortunate, but yes, so the nuke goes off, destroys the last remaining artillery piece. Another nuke is gonna go out for... Oh, once again, for Judoka, so yeah, Lynx isn't doing too well with his own nuke launcher, but Judoka's is proving extremely effective, already having destroyed... How much mass again? That was 177,000 mass. The next nuke is going out towards the... what looks to be the base of Sladow, I'm guessing. Either the base of Sladow or Soul Ripper. Let's see about that. The Tempests have been either recalled or these are new ones. I think those are actually new because, yeah, the Tempests have been... one Tempest has been sunk by Team 2. Yeah, this is just targeting the resource bases, although this is an extremely dubious nuke because there is literally nothing here. Just a bunch of power generators and mass extractors. I guess they gotta take what they can for now. It looks like a point-blank nuke is being attempted by Lynx now against the battleships of Team 1 that have completely eliminated all of the naval production and are now targeting the main bases of Team 2 directly. Let's see how well that's gonna go. It looks like... well, that was an extremely underwhelming nuke. It missed a whole bunch of battleships. And now even more will take the place of those that have been sunk, so let's get a close-up of this. An extremely nice cinematic shot we've got as we've got so many battleships bombarding the enemy shores. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at all the factories in the background that have been demolished. And all the battleships that are now being brought to bear. My goodness, this is glorious. Can we see any more? Excuse me? Can we see it from the bases? Yep. Bases are now under heavy fire. The Maver is still standing though. The Maver is still doing his job. No problem. There is so much shielding on top of the Maver that it's probably gonna keep going on for a while. But yeah, they need some serious answers to these battleships, and not like, you know, not band-aid answers like the nuke that you just witnessed that did basically nothing. But like something serious, something that will eliminate the enemy navy completely. And I'm pretty sure I'm not entirely sure if they can even do that at this point, because there are just so many battleships that's, yeah, it's looking kind of dubious, I'm not gonna lie. The Maver is targeting the naval production of Team 1 now, which I'm guessing is relatively wise. They're actually trying to nuke the enemy commanders directly. The commanders are now walking, well, I'm pretty sure they can just walk away from this, as long as they realize where the nuke is going. The commander of Strife is just standing still. I'm guessing he's trying to decide where to go, but ooh, that could be bad if he still stands there, and if he gets destroyed by the nuke, that's gonna be highly unfortunate indeed. But yeah, the commander of Chris is definitely out of the danger zone, but the commander of Strife is still standing. He could be, yeah, I think he's actually just dead here. Oh, that's not good. They've lost one commander finally, after so much pressure has been applied to Team 2. Finally, Team 2 shoots back and, yes, destroys the commander of Strife. Unfortunately, that still leaves 3 commanders who are all scattered about and are really hard to destroy because they are all in separate places. Actually, Sladow is now going for laser, so what is this? Is he going for a telemaser? That's gonna be wild if he actually does that. If he actually manages to survive while the Maver is firing upon their base. Yeah, it doesn't seem like Team 2 realizes where Sladow currently is, because he is an extremely easy target right now. He's standing outside of the shields, but it looks like, yeah, Team 2 isn't realizing what's happening. Okay, we've got more strategic bombers out from Sladow. What are they gonna do this time? That's just one bomber, actually. Wait, are there more? I think, oh yeah, there are some ambassador bombers as well, but yeah, those won't really do anything. There's just 6 of them. But in the meantime, they might not need to do anything, because look at this destruction! Oh my goodness, all of the factories, all of the power generators being destroyed. There is some artillery that is shooting back, but it looks like this artillery is extremely inadequate. I heard that, you know, a row of tactical missile launchers can be a good counter against the battleships, because they'll have extremely hard time dodging the missiles, but so far it's just been artillery pieces. They have sunk some of the battleships, but there are just so many battleships. I'm pretty sure this is exactly the freaky amount of battleships we've been talking about now. Sladow's navy consists solely of 2 sonars right now, which is a little bit weird. If we take a look at Chris, we can see he's got himself 47 battleships in total. and also 2 Tempests as well. This is definitely the freaky amount of battleships. Yeah, because he inherited some from Strife when Strife died, obviously. And if we take a look at Soul Ripper, he's got himself, what is this, 9, and then, well, yeah, just 9. Okay, 47 battleships for Chris, and 9 for Soul Ripper, so over 50 battleships, almost 60. Actually, it is 60 when you consider the Tempest as well, firing upon the base of Team 2. I feel like at this point, Team 2's days are definitely numbered, so we can speed up the game slightly, which, by the way, it won't, because there are so many objects on the map. Team 2 is trying to shoot back with a whole bunch of attack bombers as we speak. I'm not entirely sure how that's gonna go. A Tempest and the T3 battleships have plenty of health to absorb that. Yeah, not going too well so far. Especially considering they've got cruisers. There are attempts to construct some strategic, gunships in order to destroy the battleships. It's not getting too well either. Just get shredded by the cruisers. Strategic bombers approaching, also not gonna do too much. 6 bombers, I'm pretty sure, aren't enough to sink even 1 battleship. And there are so many battleships and cruisers that this isn't gonna go too well. Finally, a relatively good nuke, which will sink a whole bunch of battleships, but then all of the cruisers are intact. Okay, so yeah, it wasn't the best nuke ever. They got the battleships, but you really could have gotten a whole bunch of cruisers as well with that. Now, well, who am I to judge, right? Miraculously, the Maver is still alive. All of Team 2's efforts right now are concentrated on keeping the Maver alive, keeping the Hope alive, as Hope is pulverizing the opposing bases. As you can see, yes, most of stuff, the important stuff has been destroyed. I'm pretty sure Sladow has no more air grid. Yeah, he's just got a whole bunch of power generators. And no air grid for anyone else either, so currently there is a difficult air situation for Team 1, but they might not even care with so many battleships, which are still firing upon the enemies. Actually, I'm curious how much damage that did in terms of battleships. We can see that still 41 for Chris, with some Aeon battleships as well, so around 15 total, and then Soul Ripper is still working with all of his as well. Not all of his, still 7, but yes. The situation is still just as dire as it used to be. Just, you know, slightly fewer battleships, slightly more experience for the nuke launchers, and that's about it. And of course, Sladow is already on top of the game, has already constructing a whole bunch of fire bases on the shores of Team 2. Look at all these miasmas artillery pieces, how fast they're going up. Oh my goodness, he's there. These support commanders aren't just equipped with the RAS, they're also equipped with rapid fabricators. These were originally just RAS preset, but yeah, now they've got rapid fabricators and they can construct shields at an astonishing pace. So very soon the bombers will stop reaching them altogether because of all the flak cannons. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure what can be done about these fire bases at all, because it's just being built faster than it's being destroyed, you know. And to add to that all of the battleship fire that is currently going directly against the Maver, and it's not entirely clear how long the Maver can survive. At least we can finally, at least the game is finally speeding up as most of the air force of Team 2 is gone. Oh boy, oh, Sladow has finally completed his teleporter, so now he's teleported into the open seas where nobody can find him. Not that there is anything that could kill him, even if he was found. Interestingly enough, the commander of Soul Ripper is now on land. I guess he isn't too afraid of the Maver because he's realized the Maver can't really find anything anymore. There is no scouting, or very little scouting, for Team 2, as they are struggling to maintain just the basic infrastructure of their bases. Actually, on topic of infrastructure, I wonder if they even got an eye for Aeon. Looks like yet another nuke being fired against the battleships. This one should be pretty juicy. It looks like it will sink a whole bunch of battleships which aren't even trying to dodge it, as well as cruisers, but there is still a Tempest which is completely intact, and while the nuke launcher has now killed a grand total of 396,000 mass, almost 400,000 mass killed by the nuke launcher, it's still not enough because the battleships will just keep coming. The Maver, meanwhile, has killed 281,000 mass, so pretty comparable amounts to the nuke launcher. And it has provided some serious value, you know, by destroying all of the opposing artillery. It's just the problem is, there is now so much naval production and so many battleships, and they can build Tempests virtually anywhere on the map, that one Maver is inadequate to stop that. So yeah, we're witnessing the ultimate Navy versus Eco situation here. Except, well, the Eco is now on the side of Team 1 as well, quite clearly. Sladow sitting comfortably, sitting pretty, at 14,000 mass a second. Oh, 1400, sorry, what? 14,000. Soul Ripper being next in line at almost 500, and then everyone on Team 2 is behind. Only one person on Team 2 is actually ahead of Chris, who has the weakest economy, who has been relentlessly bombarded with a Maver as well. Alright, so with most of the cruisers gone, some of the attack bombers are finally landing, or some of their bombs are finally landing on the battleships. Too bad that doesn't actually matter. It's just one battleship and it takes so many bombers to destroy it, so much production, that the worth of the whole operation is highly dubious, to say the least. There is also now a nuke submarine out from Chris. Well, it has been out for a while. It hasn't actually fired a single nuke, I'm pretty sure. It's just destroying everything with tactical missiles, which is very interesting because it's already managed to destroy 9,000 mass, almost, with just tactical missiles, so clearly inadequate amounts of tactical missile defense have been produced by Team 2. I'm also really curious as to the fact that the Team 1 hasn't attempted to make any torrents, but I guess since they are mostly working on Cybran and UEF Navy, torrents wouldn't have been too good, because, you know, you can't build too many of them. The Maver is being fired upon by 2 Tempests. That is not a very good look, let me tell you. With so many battleship shells connecting with the shields as well. The Maver looks to be on its last legs, and there you go. Okay, that's one thing I didn't miss, the destruction of the Maver. So now the Team 2 has no more game ender, no more navy, basically no air, and it's really not clear how they're getting out of this one. So at this point, ich uppe bedoel niks meer. Ich komme, says Sladow. I guess that means I'm coming. Oh, he's teleported in. Where exactly? I can't see him. Where is he? Hello? Sladow, where'd you go? What? I lost him! Hold up. Everybody hold up, I've lost Sladow. Where is he? Where is his comm? Oh, it's on the island on the side. Well, yeah. That is not exactly the I'm coming that we expected, is it now? the Maver is not being reclaimed. Well, I mean, well, why would it? You don't even have the ways to spend the mass. Actually, never mind that. Mertens is still mass stalling despite most of his production being gone. Interesting. Okay, there goes Sladow. He teleported underwater though, so hi Judoka, wie geht's dir? Yes. Hey Judoka, how's it going? Says Sladow, as he can't actually use his mazer because his chest is still underwater. He's trying to teleport out. Well, I think he actually can teleport out unless something serious happens just now. Oh, the mercies! Oh no, the mercies! The mercies that Judoka has been preparing the whole time are finally being brought to bear to point-blank snipe Sladow, who teleported in himself. Langweiler, says Sladow, which I'm pretty sure means boring. Or a bore, probably. Yes, I think langweilig means boring. So this should be a noun, which means bored. Nouns are usually spelled with capital letters in German, but obviously, you know, this is the internet we're talking about. Nobody is going to be adhering to the rules of grammar. All the mercies have now been transferred to Merton for some reason. Another nuke being launched by Judoka, and this time it's going, I have no idea where the hell it's going. Oh, it looks like it might be going for the commander of Soul Ripper, which is really interesting. There's only 2 commanders of Team 1 left in play, so potentially if you could kill them both, you could bring this game back, but nope, the nuke misses. And now there's a Fat Boy done by Chris apparently, and the Fat Boy was being constructed directly in the base of Team 2. Oh no, that's not good. The Fat Boy is now firing, joining the battleships in its firing capabilities. I'm pretty sure the Fat Boy has more firepower than a single battleship, right? I'm right? DPS 750 times 4, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, and also, yeah, there's also riot guns, but those won't matter. And yes, Judoka control keys out of the game. Now the only player left alive is going to be Merton, but most of his stuff is now gone, as are his shields, so now it's just a matter of time. He has managed to build a Galactic Colossus, or Judoka has, I guess, which now belongs to Merton. Yeah, hasn't even got the energy to sustain the shields. The last Quantum Gateway has been destroyed. The Colossus is walking directly towards the Fat Boy, but being destroyed by all the battleships in the process. Dud does gain the rank of veterancy, but it's all for naught. And now a whole host of Percivals has arrived out from Soul Ripper. Sorry, now the last Quantum Gateway has been destroyed, my bad. And as the last nuke eliminator goes down, I'm pretty sure that will mean that the strategic missile submarine of Chris will just finish the game off. Is it still alive? Yes. Oh, it's got no nuke inside it, so never mind. I guess Chris's commander will still hang out a while, except it's gone. What? Where did it go? What? I can't see, sorry, not Chris's commander, I mean Merton's commander is now gone. Has it teleported somewhere? What? Oh, yep, it's right there. Alright, Merton's commander has teleported directly into the enemy base. Yeah, looks like a bit of a desperation move to me. The battleships are trying to fire upon him, but of course failing. He is now teleporting elsewhere, which is, well, he's basically just teleporting towards the surface, saying, kill me now. And let's see how exactly fast he can do. Oh, okay, strategic bombers dropping bombs on him, which won't work because the water is too deep. But now it might work out. Also, these were torpedo bombers, and yep, there goes Merton. The game is over. Whew, what a game, what a game. Over an hour-long gameplay. An insane naval siege we've witnessed. And even then, you know, that naval siege was failing to break through the Maver for like 20 minutes, as the Maver was wreaking havoc every which way. And even that still wasn't enough, because there was just so much naval production spread everywhere for Team 1 that even the Maver ultimately wasn't enough to stop them. Whew, what a game indeed. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, because I sure did. And if you did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications so you all never miss my videos, and yeah, maybe leave a comment down below as well. Thank you all so much for watching, I greatly appreciate it. This is all I've got for you for today, so goodbye, take care everybody, and I hope to see you again soon on the battlefields of the future.